Hello everyone, it is your friendly neighborhood warlock Gubstep. In today's video, I'll be going over a few of the PvE systems in Ashes of Creation. If you do not know what Ashes of Creation is, I implore you to watch my previous video on the game, What is Ashes of Creation, which can be found in the description. The first and most popular feature we'll cover is dungeons. Ashes of Creation has confirmed that it will have both instance and open world dungeons. Unlike other MMORPGs, dungeons and raids in the zone will be influenced by the surrounding node. A scientific node may cause different dungeons and or monsters to appear out in the world, opposed to something like an economic node. The open world dungeons may be highly contested and hold rare crafting ingredients and or materials, so be prepared to run into other groups if you plan on entering them. Dungeons and content may change based on the season in Ashes of Creation. A dungeon may feature different mobs, resources, and or loot if the world is enveloped in snow, opposed to a warm spring day. The current group size in Ashes is speculated to be around 8 people, representing the 8 archetypes in the game, but this is still to be determined. Raids, much like dungeons, will be both instanced and open world. They will be influenced by the node in both their theme and loot drops. Raid bosses out in the world may spawn due to an event that causes them to attack the city, and everyone must defend their home node. Instance raid content is said to be 40 players with no group finder planned for both dungeons and raids at this time. It appears Ashes will have some sort of loose form of the Holy Trinity system, tank healer and DPS, however this is solely based on alpha footage. There are also monster coins. What are monster coins? Monster coins are similar to raids, but instead of the server spawning a boss, a player can actually summon an event in their node. Everyone participating in the monster coin will receive a reward. It is still being decided how players will obtain these monster coins aside from certain backers on the Ashes of Creation Kickstarter. 2 monster coins can't be used at the same time. They've already confirmed this, as it would just end up causing this mass chaos within the game. There will be a queue system that takes place instead, so if one person uses their monster coin and then another person uses their monster coin, say during the event, it will be queued up to be used when the next event takes place. If dungeons and raids aren't for you, you can make your mark on the world by owning a house, apartment, freehold, or farmland. Housing and apartments are within the city. Houses in very early nodes will be cheap and limited. As the node develops, housing will grow more extensive, but can be extremely expensive. Apartments in cities will be instanced. In the event that you can't afford a house, you can still have a little place to call your own. Freeholds and farmlands are just outside of city walls. This is where you'll do most of your crafting and farming. Freeholds are customizable with different skins and props. Some of these have already been displayed as part of the early back rewards that change from month to month on their website. Think of freeholds as your place of business. Specific vendors can be placed on your freeholds. You can give your friends or business associates access to the tools on the freehold, and even charge other players for services provided on your freehold. On the topic of making money, let's move on to the economy in Ashes of Creation. There is no worldwide auction house, and players will have to search in the market for their goods. Players will set up stalls with their goods in various cities and use caravans and ships to move goods between cities. While this falls under more of a PvP content, as you can be attacked while escorting a caravan or sailing a ship, I felt it was worth noting in this video. Get ready to add to your collection, because Ashes of Creation will feature tons of mounts and pets. If you're crazy about collecting these, Ashes of Creation might just be the perfect game for you. Ashes will feature an in-depth breeding system for mounts. In addition to breeding mounts, they can be obtained from rare drops and crafting. Ashes will also feature mounts and pets on their cosmetic store, as well as backer rewards. However, flying mounts will not be abundant in the game, as they are reserved for very special occasions like kings and queens defending their castles. Certain pets will have a level tied to them and have gear and skins available to them. This goes along with mounts as well. The leveling experience in Ashes will be a little bit different than the traditional questing and grinding leveling. The developers have said they'll be breaking the questing experience up into 3 categories: narratives, events, and tasks. Narratives will be what you see typical quests as: kill X mobs, and these quests are where story just doesn't really fit in. Events are public quests that will be within the local, regional, or global land of the server depending on the quest objective. Events will change the outcome of the world and will change the story of the server forever. Finally, tasks are specific to the individual node. Tasks will include crafting, exploration, combat, and gathering. These will be the main source of experience towards the node you are working to develop. Questing will not be the only way to level up, but it might be the most interesting. Developers have said there will be quests with multiple outcomes. Upon reaching max level, which is still to be determined, you can decide what you want to do. Perhaps running for office is right up your alley. Nodes will have player-run governments that will decide things like taxes, alliances, trade agreements, and more. Players will be elected by other players of that node. Be careful that you don't vote for a tyrant. With all this dynamic content, you may be wondering how Ashes of Creation will handle servers. Ashes will feature a standard server list, but with the amount of variation and content, maybe cities that have been built on one server may not even be on another. Dungeons that have been commonly known to one server since day one may never have been discovered on a different server. That's all we have for Ashes of Creation in today's video. If this is your first time hearing about Ashes of Creation, you can help me by clicking my referral link when you go to create an account on the Ashes of Creation website. That can be found in the description. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you want to see future content by me, be sure to hit that subscribe and bell button. I will see you next video.